All right, so we're welcome you to week 8 of the WebCenter All-In Accountability Challenge, really the final week as we go through this program. And the next week, what we'll do is we'll just talk about some highlights and some results that we've seen. But a tremendous job so far. We really have focused on the number one thing that will yield results, and that's activity. I know a lot of people were concerned about their lack of confidence early on, but through activity, we learn, we improve, and we realize that we're pushing fear aside, and we're starting to get a little bit more comfortable. And we can see that in the results. We can see that in more appointments, more consultations, more sales, more activity. So it really comes down to just continuing that process over and over and over again. Tonight's topic is all about networking and networking groups. Last week, we talked about different industries like these niche markets, vertical markets, where you might want to specialize in an area or do some seasonal campaigns as a way to make sure that you can just really focus on your local area, your local market, on all the businesses that are in that one business category, and to really sharpen your skills in that one category so you know the talking points. Now we're going to move into networking groups. And you're going to take what we talked about last week and talk about everything we talked about up to this point with building relationships in the consultation appointment, and now focus on how to drive even more candidates through the art of networking and leveraging networking groups. And this is not just for WebCenter owners only. This is unfranchised owners in general, in a large base of you, and how you can continue to meet the types of people that you need to meet to really succeed and yield results. So when we talk about networking groups, they are a great opportunity. And I'll tell you that our top WebCenter owners and a lot of our WebCenter trainers have done as well as they have because they're at a point now where they belong to networking groups. They're getting a constant flow of referrals. So they're not out hunting for business. They're actually attracting or being referred business. And I think a lot of people would prefer to do that. Right? You don't want to go out and cold call. You don't want to go out and solicit businesses by canvassing an area and going on foot, knocking on doors. You don't want to, just be making 400 random phone calls. It doesn't work. It's uncomfortable. There's a lot of rejection. And on the other side, the business owners really aren't receptive to that. So networking in general is all about building relationships. And a great way to do that is to build a common ground by establishing yourself as a member of a group, establishing yourself as a member of a networking group. So every area may have a chamber of commerce, right? An organization that is really to drive commerce or business in a certain local market. And it might be a metro area, it might be a suburb area. It's up to you in your local market, but you can do a search. You can find, other businesses and ask if they belong to a chamber or where the nearest chamber is. But that's a great opportunity. There's lots of Chamber of Commerce events. They usually do like an after hours event. It might be like a happy hour event, a meet and greet. They might do some other workshop types of events. They might do some Saturday socials. They might put on other social events. They might do a breakfast club. Every chamber is different, but when you become a member of a chamber, you also have access to the chamber list. Now, certainly you can go and search, who's a member of the chamber and see them all listed out. But when you belong to the group, you have a similarity. You have a talking point and a reference of when you talk to these businesses. I'm also a member of the chamber. I was hoping we could connect. It establishes common ground. But also you might have contact details rather than just the name of the business. When you become a member, you might have contact information like business owner name, phone number, email address, a better way to contact them. So Chamber of Commerce is a great thing to look into. Another one might be a Rotary Club, a Rotarian, becoming a member there, maybe a Legion, a Knights of Columbus, an American military group. But when we look at Business Networking International, that's another great one, BNI. And these have exclusive seats, meaning that they only have one for, say, marketing and advertising, or one for web design or web development, or maybe there's only one seat for chiropractic or health professional, or maybe there's only one seat for accountant or bookkeeper. So there's some exclusivity, which helps with getting some referrals and establishing some expertise and credibility in that group. They do usually allow you to be a guest at one or two meetings, but you want to make sure that you find the group that best fits you. You can go in as a sub many times and substitute for someone who's a member that can't attend one event. But you do want to, do your due diligence, do your research. There is a cost of the membership, but it is tremendous value in what you can get and what it will yield in terms of return. There's others like LaTip, or maybe even like a Toastmasters group, which is more of public speaking, but it's another great networking opportunity. There might be some local networking groups. I know in our area, there's some towns that have banded together where they have their own private business association or networking group. That's something to look into. But other than business professional networks, what about just other community groups? I want you to think about maybe the PTA or the PTO, maybe a booster club. Maybe there's some other types of boys and girls club, or any type of community group where you've got people that have a common interest. And that can be a great way to establish great relationships and then network within that. Online, we've got social networking groups. I know many people that are members of different social networking groups, and you can find those on Facebook. There's a whole network called Meetup that's referenced here. You can also look at LinkedIn, Facebook. I don't know if there's any on Instagram. I haven't seen any group, because there's not really a group feature, but maybe there's a page you can belong to. But different social networking groups are available. You just want to make sure that you connect with the intent to engage, not the intent to sell them anything. And we're going to talk about that more. And then lastly, there's some great apps out there, and maybe you've used some of these apps. There's one called Shaper. I'll tell you that it's kind of been overexposed. There's a lot of people that are just pitching, promoting, selling, so the value of that one may have gone down a little bit. But Shaper, Lunch Club, that's a great one that's kind of popped up, where everyone that's a member of this lunch club gets assigned a lunch meeting. So you actually get assigned a one-on-one with someone. That's pretty neat. And of course, there's an entire networking site called Meetup, and you can find meetups in your area, which is around a certain topic or category, and you can attend those live or online. But then there's also the opportunity to create your own meetup. And I tell you that if there's no networking groups in your area, start one. Right? Be the one that reaches out and starts inviting people in your area, other businesses, self-employed individuals, to become a member of a brand new networking group, and really spearhead that, because that will yield dividends for years to come if you do that. But the idea is that networking groups are an incredible valuable asset in your business, not just for web centers, but unfranchised as well. But if you talk to any small business or self-employed individual that is successful, and they most likely belong to some type of networking group, right? So how do you leverage and take make the most out of a networking event? I'll tell you, of all the things here, the most important thing is that it always comes down to building a strong relationship. And we talked about that early on. And it really comes down to asking questions and listening, right? Building the KLT factor, I call it, know, like, and trust. You got to get people to know you, like you, and trust you. And the best way to do that is to establish some rapport and get to know them. Make every meetup, every communication about them. And by default, it will come back to you, kind of like karma. Right? It will really return in your favor if you establish that type of trust in any type of community. So when you take the emphasis off yourself and you really focus on them and find out what their needs are and who they are and what they're excited about and passionate about, it establishes this curiosity where they start thinking that you're a really valuable person, or could be. And then they're going to want to go network, and they want to ask you about your business. And then you might even just shift the conversation and say, you know what, let's take some time maybe this week and meet up again. I don't want to take all of your time. There's other opportunities for you to meet other people. And when you do that, and you take the onus off yourself, it really creates this like wow factor, because it's untraditional. It's memorable and it's different. It almost becomes what I call a USP, a unique selling proposition of yours, if you can be different. And what happens is that word gets out. People say, oh, you should go meet such and such. You should go meet Jason. He gave me a couple tips, but he was really, what an intriguing individual when all you did was ask them questions about their favorite topic, and that was them and their business. Right? So all the same things we talk about in rapport building, relationship building, the consultation, the contact phase, all of that still applies here in networking. And I think what a lot of, I'll call it old school networking approaches have been is, let me show up to an event with a stack of business cards, like a deck of cards. I'm just going to pass them out to everyone and hope that I get some business. And I'll tell you, that doesn't really sit well with most people. In fact, they're not going to remember you. They're going to throw away the card or maybe not hold on to it. They're certainly not going to refer you business because you didn't really establish that rapport. So should you have business cards? Yeah, maybe you have a digital business card. Maybe you've got a tangible business card. But more importantly is to introduce yourself, who you are, what you do, but most importantly, get to know them, ask questions. And what that does is actually qualifies your prospects so that you can invest your time with the right people when you contact them for a consultation. See, if you don't do that up front, then you've got to take that extra step of meeting them, contacting them, trying to ask them questions to see if there's a fit, to qualify them to then have a consultation, to then take it. But if you're at a networking event, in the first couple of minutes, you can establish, whether or not they are a potential candidate for you. And I'll give you an example. You go to a networking group or a chamber of commerce, and there might be, a Fortune 50 company has a representative in that area. Maybe a national franchisee is there. And it might be just someone who's employed, their job is to just attend the events, eat the free food, and maybe just mingle a little bit. And they're there for a good time. They're not there to grow business. And really, do they really have a need for any of our solutions? But if you don't know if they're a decision maker, you don't know anything. But if you ask the right questions and you determine that maybe they're not the right target audience for you, but certainly they know other people, right? So then you can kind of shift to referral and say, you know what, this is, how I conduct business is meeting people and networking rather than advertising, right? So make sure that you, some people say give to get, but I really would say that rather than exchanging information, it's more important to receive information, right? You want to be in control. So if you're handing out a business card, right? If you're handing out a business card, you're leaving that contact phase up to the person that you hand it to, whether they're going to email you or call you. The other thing is you give someone your phone number, you're still leaving it up to them. If you don't receive something from them, their contact information, their name, their email, or something, maybe their social profile or some way to contact them, you might as well not even go, because you can't do the most important thing, and that's follow up. And we know that the fortune is in the follow up, right? So don't just go litter the streets with your business card. Don't just stick them on car windshields. Don't go hand them out. In fact, a lot of people don't even have business cards anymore. It's more important to receive information and establish some type of relationship and contact information, however that might be. Now, when you're in a conversation in a networking environment, I always like to ask the individual, what they're looking for and how you can best help them. Hey, Bob, how can I best help you? If I were to refer you your ideal client, who might that be and what might that look like? And Bob's going to tell you what he's looking for in terms of referral. And if he doesn't, then you can kind of prompt Bob in this case and say, look, are there certain demographics? Are you looking for males, females, different age groups, maybe different income levels, maybe a different radius, a geography, how far is your reach, maybe different product lines, maybe you're a contractor, but you're really focused on kitchen and bath remodel. So you might have to ask those more detailed questions to really get the individual to think about what would be the best case scenario for them. And I'll tell you that as you help them determine who that might be, as they describe their ideal client that you can refer them to or refer to them, your job the next week, I would say within the next 3 to 7 to 10 days, is to find someone who's looking for that service and refer them, right? Because that is going to escalate that value that you have in that person's mind. Establishes KLT, know, like, and trust, and of course adds value, tremendous value. So if you can be a person of your word, it shows integrity and character. And what that does is takes the relationship to the next level. And I'll tell you that there are many opportunities to do that. Maybe you find someone and you're in a networking event and you realize that they do HVAC. You're then at a weekend barbecue and someone says, geez, I'm evaluating a new AC unit, or maybe a generator before the inclement weather days come, or maybe I'm looking at researching solar or whatever it is. So, I have someone, I don't know if that's what they do, but I'd love to put you in touch with them, and you can refer them over to the person that you met at the networking event. In fact, if you're really good at this, you might even just send a text to that person and say, hey, I'm at a barbecue right now, and I've got someone who might be interested in learning a little bit more about what you do. Quick question, do you do solar? And they may or may not. So you're helping them qualify leads as well. And then you just do a three-way text and say, hey, or introducing, hey, Sally, this is Joe. Joe, this is Sally. Hope you can find a connection or find a way to maybe work or help each other out. Glad to be of assistance if I can. Right? That kind of networking shows that you are the networking invitation, or the person to create invitations and leads for other people. Right. And then if you have the opportunity, they might ask you the question and say, describe your ideal client. Or when you finish, you can, always ask them, well, right now I'm working with restaurants because I find that they're having a hard time really getting ahead in this type of market. So we're running some specials. Do you happen to know any restaurant owners? I'd love to speak with them. Maybe it comes back to that niche marketing. That's why we talked about that session last week, so that you can have those talking points. You can have a special category. But if you establish trust and rapport and a relationship, you can go back to these people in 3 or 4 months and say, you know what, we're actually now working with the education businesses, right? Do you happen to have any contacts that I should speak with, right? And it all comes down to the relationship. And if you do that, they know who to refer you and why. Right. So again, the most important thing you're looking for is to schedule the appointment. You're not looking to sell, pitch, promote. You're not even looking to schedule the consultation in these events. You're just scheduling the next meeting, the next step. Hey, you know what? I'd love to talk with you further about your business and share a little bit more about what we do. Would you be up for a virtual coffee? Would you be open for meeting over happy hour? Would you, want to grab lunch someday? We can take this conversation a little further. I don't want to monopolize your time right now. You've got other people to meet, but I would love, before we leave right now, to make sure that we can get something in our schedules, right? And that's the ideal scenario. Now, if you don't get the appointments right there on the spot, just for adding on those networking opportunities, you can always follow up with them within 24 hours and say, hey, it was great chatting with you last night. Love to continue the conversation. Would you have any time on Thursday or Friday? Right? So again, we're always booking the next meeting. And that's part of the follow up and follow through. The next event leads to the next event, right? So when we talk about networking groups, a great opportunity. Another great opportunity are trade shows, right? And I know a lot of trade shows have moved online and virtual trade shows, but a lot of them are coming back live. A lot of them are hybrid, but trade shows are a great opportunity for you to meet businesses that are looking for business, right? They're actually paying for a booth to get traffic to their place, their real estate at this trade show, to talk about their products and services and generate leads, right? So they're there to capitalize on as many business opportunities as possible. So when you go there, you've got people or businesses that are hungry, they're marketing, they're advertising, they're spending money for lead generation. So those are qualifications that you're looking for, that they've got a marketing budget in place. So you're going to go around and mix and mingle and meet some of these people, but just realize that a lot of these trade show exhibitors may not be the decision maker, may not be the business owner. They might be a rep of the company. In fact, they might be hired third-party company that is doing the trade show for them. So you want to ask those types of questions. But in some cases, it might be the business owner. So you're not going to know unless you ask the question. But you want to make sure that as a guest, that you respect their time because they have paid to generate leads, not be solicited to. So you want to be very cognizant and aware of that. So, look in your different areas of what types of shows. I'll tell you that they're not all home shows, right? Home shows are great because you get windows, doors, siding contractors, roofing contractors, HVAC, solar. You get maybe stone and masons. You've got property management companies. You've got realtors. I mean, you've got so many contractors, home builders, remodelers, cabinet companies, so many opportunities to meet other people at a home show event. It could be a garden show. Maybe it's the garden garden center. Maybe the Flower and Garden Club is doing something. Maybe it's a local market. Maybe it's, here in New Hampshire, they've got the Made in New Hampshire event. So it's all businesses in New Hampshire that, have New Hampshire made products. Maybe not the flea market types of shows, but I'll tell you that there's a lot of flea markets. There's a lot of farmers markets. There's a lot of these home shows where they've got entrepreneurs that are looking to sell their products and services. And whether you realize it or not, they might be trying to sell on eBay, Etsy, Amazon. They might be trying to sell through Shopify. They're trying to find a digital component, and we can compete with that, right? We have a Shopify with web centers. So that's something to consider. Maybe they're selling t-shirts or towels or wraps or swimwear or sandals or jewelry. So there are opportunities everywhere. Right. So when you're doing your research, right, what is the theme? What is the location? What is the date? What are the times? Where, what's the event site? Any notes that you might have. But I'll tell you, you can usually check the website to see who might be there. They usually say, exhibitors will include, and it gives you a list. So right on that list, you can start doing some preliminary research and then show up at the event and kind of have some questions almost ready. They might have a social media page dedicated to it. And maybe they have their own event hashtag. So it allows you the ability to do some research ahead of time, but really get a feel of the types of attendees that might be there. Now, a lot of these events have a cost. Some of them are free because the vendors who have paid to have a booth there are paying the majority, but it might have a cost. It might be a $10 fee. It might be a $25 fee. Maybe it's an RV and a boat show. Maybe it's a camping show. Maybe it's an outdoor show, and it's a hunting and fishing show. The idea is that even if there's a cost, find times where it might be slower, where they're trying to drive traffic. And how do you know? They give you a discount. If the show starts on a Friday, it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, maybe they got a preview session on Thursday night, or maybe at the end of the event on Sunday night, they've got something before people break down, or maybe Friday night is a discount day, but there's usually some way to know. And I'll tell you that if it's a slower time, you're going to have an opportunity to meet more people and have better conversations, more quality conversations. But I want to urge you against having a sales conversation, an overview, a demonstration. You don't want to be presenting anything during this time. It's a time to meet and greet. And you'll find that if the show is busy, you don't want to take that person's time, because their time there, their boss or the business owner is looking to generate leads and traction and potential sales, and maybe even set up some quotes and proposals at that event. So you don't want to take that time. So be respectful of that. And if you are, they'll respect you for that. Always grab contact information. Don't pretend to be a customer or a client unless you really are. No company likes a bait and switch. Think of yourself. Do you like it when someone kind of baits and switches with you? You think they're interested in a website, or you think they're interested in the unfranchised, and then they try and sell you their deal? No one likes it. So be, nothing's further, that's like disingenuine. And that's, the opposite of what you want to do, right? So you want to be upfront, honest, transparent, genuine, all the way. And that conversation might even say, you know what? I'd love to have a conversation with you about your marketing. Obviously, you're at a trade show. I hope it works out for you. I'm going to reach out to you next week. Who is the best person to contact and when? And the idea is, as a guest, right, you want to make sure that it's all about not selling. It's just about the conversation and asking questions and collecting some information. You can write some notes on the back, but your job is over the next 2 to 3 days, not too far out from the event because they might not remember you, and not immediately following the event because they're too busy kind of cleaning up everything that they've done. And I'd say even 2 to 3 days might be tight, but the idea is that you're not looking in 2 to 3 days to have the appointment. You're having 2 to 3 days to just reach out and contact them. We met at the show. I don't know if you remember me. Just curious, how did it go for you? Asking a question, great. Well, the reason I called is because I'd love to learn more about your company, your products, your services, see how the show went for you. Do you have time maybe next week to talk for maybe 10 or 15 minutes? And then you can book the consultation appointment, right? So the contact has to be in a time frame where they might remember you or meeting you, or maybe you were referred to talk to someone using the show as the excuse. and then you book that consultation maybe a week out, because they're probably going to be busy following up with their leads that they generated at the trade show, right, or the expo. So the idea, again, schedule the consultation if and when appropriate or necessary. All right, another great place to meet people or network is social media. Great place to prospect. Just know that business pages are run by decision makers, even if that's the marketing admin or marketing consultant. Well, they've got some influence over the marketing budget. So yeah, they are part of the decision maker team, so to speak. So when you're reaching out to these types of pages, just realize that you want to follow them, like them, subscribe, whatever network you're on, become a fan, do some search, find them on social media. Everyone on your candidate list, you should research and find them on social media and like them. Comment on their posts, like their posts, reply to their posts, engage. I think that's the biggest word I can say is engage with the business. And then you can always private message the business through Facebook. And that's another communication channel. And it leads you two directions. One is if they're responsive, it gives you a great way to start a dialogue. And if they're not responsive, it's part of the research, because they might be missing out on business, where they might have other people that are reaching out to them on their Facebook page or even Instagram through direct message, and they're missing out. So that can be one of your taglines or something that you flag as part of your research, that you reached out and within 2 weeks, you still hadn't heard back from them. Right. So that can be part of your research. Or if they do get back to you, then you've started the dialogue. What about online community groups, networking or industry specific, right? Maybe you belong to a fitness professional networking group if you're a trainer, but also a WebCenter owner. Maybe you are an NC with Nutrimetrics and you can belong to a health professional or wellness group. Any group dedicated to network. I'll let you know that there's a lot of networking groups out there that are just spammed full of network marketers, multi-level marketers, direct sales individuals, or even self-employed individuals that haven't understood how to properly network in these groups. So, scan through the group, scan through the page and see if it's even worthwhile based on the post. But if you see a good group that has some interaction, some engagement, some likes, some comments, they're active, it's a great group to be a member of. And I'll tell you, interact, be the star, be the #1 person in that group, meaning that you're going to be known because your name is going to be listed as someone who liked it, who loved it, who commented, who replied. And if you're engaged in a group, that's why try not to be a member of too many groups. Try and really focus on a couple so that you can establish some trust and some rapport with the members. Learn about the members, start reaching out to the members. Hey, you know what? I love that comment. I'm going to send you a private message. Or, hey, that's a great comment. I'd love to connect, and send them a friend request. Hey, that's outstanding. It's been so great reading some of your posts. I think we've got some like minds. Would you be open to having a conversation and networking a little bit? Maybe have a Zoom or a cup of coffee. Right. And that's how you can take things from online to offline. And as quickly as you can, that is the ideal scenario, where you go from an online relationship to an offline relationship, because it's almost like the ladder effect, where you're establishing trust and rapport and relationship is building. And as close as you can get to meeting them physically is the ideal situation. Right. So you can have a great networking conversation, share what you do, talk about how you can benefit each other. It's got to go both ways in the networking groups. It can't be one-sided, just like the networking event. Nothing has changed from the live in-person networking event to networking online and a social media channel. Right. Now, there are other non-business owner network business opportunities. And what might those be? We reference them. Maybe the town PTA, PTO, maybe the booster club, maybe there's a town organization or a town Facebook group. The idea is that it's another group that is maybe filled with some business owners, maybe non-business owners, but building a relationship in that group can lead to more referrals. You can, ask someone, hey, I'm working on a project. I'd love your feedback. Would you have a couple quick minutes so I can share what I do? Talk a little bit about your goals, what you're looking for, and then ask for referrals, right? Maybe share some designs that we've done. Maybe share mawebcenters.com to pique their interest, so that when they are out and they know someone who's looking for a website, guess what comes to mind? Aha, I remember that conversation we had. right? And then of course, mindfully scroll for business opportunities. As you're scrolling on your social networks, there are many times where you can uncover some opportunities, people that are looking for referrals of, hey, does anyone know a web designer? Does anyone know a graphic designer? Does anyone do anything with email marketing? And again, that's not your opportunity to sell right there on the spot, but it's a great opportunity because there's a need now to reach out and say, hey, I just sent you a private message. Send them a private message and say, I'd like to learn more about what you are looking for. Would you have time for a conversation? Not, I sell websites. I would love to help you. You say, I don't know if I can help you or not, but I would love to learn about what your needs are to see if there might be a good fit. Right? That's a great way to let them know that you're a professional and that you're a serious business person, because that sounds normal. As soon as you start saying, hey, I sell websites, they're going to say, great, what's the cost? You haven't proved any value there, and you haven't done a consultation. You haven't earned the right to talk about your product yet because you don't know what their needs are. Right? So again, everything that we do in person, the same rules apply online. Now, on social media, you can also do some social searching. Right? You can do some hashtag searching. You can hashtag every competitor, hashtag Wix, hashtag Weebly, hashtag Squarespace, hashtag Shopify, hashtag GoDaddy, hashtag digital marketing, right? And on all these different networks, you can find hashtags where people are making comments using those, and you'll uncover problems in many cases. Does anyone know anyone that's used hashtag a competitor? I'm having challenges. Or has anyone used this provider? I can't seem to access my email, or my domain name is locked out. Now there's a sense of urgency in the same thing. Reach out immediately. You can't let it wait. When you see an opportunity, you can't say, oh, I don't know what to say, so I'll wait till tomorrow. Opportunity is gone. Window of opportunity has closed. Immediately like, comment, private message. I'd like to, I'm sorry you're having this problem. I don't know if I can help or not, but I'd like to learn more about what you're looking to accomplish. Would you have time for a quick conversation? Okay, and that's the consultation, find out their needs, and then schedule that next step, right? So timing really is everything there, but also in social searching, you can expand your network, looking for new people. Maybe it's hashtag web designers, hashtag graphic designers, hashtag IT pro, hashtag IT, hashtag design, right? And you'll find other people that might be in those categories. We've got a great solution for them to leverage teams of professionals where you can expand your business, right? So we don't know where it's going to go, but the idea is that opportunities are everywhere, including right in your back pocket, right? Do you know, people on your names lists, everyone that they know? No, you don't. Right? If you do the memory jogger and you come up with a list of 300 people, that means that every one of those 300 people has a list of at least 100 to 300 people in that first tier, that first layer, right? So, do any of the people that go out to eat? Where's their favorite restaurant? Do they get their hair or nails done? Do they have a doctor? Do they have a chiropractor? Do they have a dentist, a lawyer? Have they done work on their homes? Do they ever need a plumber? Who is their electrician? Do they belong to a gym? Do they have kids in different activities? Do they shop at stores? Do they shop in line? All of these people have tremendous lists, and it's about accessing those as potential referrals. And another type of group is, your well-connected, highly influential people. I would say that that's your target market right there. And there are certain business categories that are really well-connected in every community. Real estate agents, they know everyone. Insurance agents, they talk to everyone. Waiters and waitresses, they're social and they have to build relationships to do a good job to get a good tip. They know people in the community. They got their regulars. Bartenders, right? They know everyone's story. They know everyone who knows everyone. Fitness instructors, hairstylists, coaches, influential, well-connected people, well-liked people, community leaders, municipality leaders, maybe the police chief, the fire chief, the town selectman, the mayor, the politician, the president of the PTO, the president of the booster club, the Friends of the Library trustee organization, church leaders, other organization association leaders. These people have a network. So you want to make sure that you identify who all those people are in your sphere of influence in your world market so that you can reach out to them and have a conversation. Hey, I'm expanding my business. I'm building out a project. I would love your help. Could we take 10 or 15 minutes? And you can explain what you're looking for and the best types of referrals so that if they come across anyone that comes to mind, there's an open door. Because if you don't, they could be referring business elsewhere. Think about that. They're referring business elsewhere. Maybe you've got a stronger relationship. Who has earned the right for their referral? And a lot of times people get so upset. Oh my goodness, my cousin just started a business and they went with another company for their website design. Well, do they know that you offer website design? Do they know that you have a digital marketing company? If not, shame on you, not shame on them, right? So I would really take heed of that. And of course, last week we talked about getting together with your organization. And I hope you did that exercise. I hope that you reached out to your UFO organization and really started establishing this collaborative impact where you start networking within your group to pass along leads for Nutrimetrics, TLS, and Motives and WebCenters, because that will build the strongest type of unfranchised organization. So you can do all these meetings. You can talk on the phone. You can do it in person. You can text. It goes both ways. It's the same thing in person as it is on the phone. It's simply just like a networking event, but it's one-on-one, right? Learn about how you can help them. What can I do to help you? I'd like to tell you how you can help me. And it's not about being too technical. You need to have your power statement, your answer to what is it. You know, here it says we provide a better and more affordable way for small businesses to market their business online. I like to stand with my, I have an all-inclusive digital marketing solution to help businesses increase revenue, decrease expenses, and streamline some of their business practices, right? And you might actually have one of your categories that you're focused on. Right now, I'm really focused on working with the trades and the building contractors. Who do you know that might be looking for business in kitchen and bath remodel, tiling, flooring, cabinetry? Anyone like that, I'd be more than happy to take that referral. And in fact, I'm doing a referral campaign where I'm giving, if a deal closes, rather than me spending money on advertising, I'd rather just, give a referral fee back to the person who referred business, right? And that's a smart way to do that. Give them some type of incentive to refer you business. So again, the networking in person, one-on-one is the same as a networking event, right? And when you get those referrals, what do you say? Right? You make sure you build that common ground, the reason you called, right? Hi, Lisa, I'm not sure if Frank might have mentioned, right? That's the common ground right there. Frank might have mentioned that I'd be getting in touch with you, but Frank and I were talking the other day, and he mentioned that I might be able to help your business, right? They're most likely going to ask, oh, what do you do? So now you need your answer. You need your power statement, right? Now, it's even better if you can get that person that's going to refer you business to make the connection for you. Maybe send out a group text. Hi, Frank. Hi, Lisa. This is Frank. I'm introducing you to Jason. Jason and I were talking. I think you guys would make a great connection. I think Jason can help you out. I'll leave it to you guys to meet each other. Then you can take the referral and say, hey, so nice to meet you, Lisa. Frank, thank you so much. Lisa, love to learn more about your business. When might you have 10 or 15 minutes? Right? And then you can schedule that meeting. But having Frank in that conversation, passing along the lead, will solidify that appointment for you more than likely. So having them kind of reach out or even at least give a heads up. Hey, Lisa, I just want to let you know I'm having Jason get in touch with you. Your name came up on a conversation. Great guy I met. You'll be looking forward to either a text or call from them. So that when you text or call and you say, hey, Lisa, I'm not sure if Frank mentioned I'd be getting in touch with you. Oh yeah, Frank let me know just the other day that you'd be reaching out. How can I help you? Right? You're warming up that relationship. So these are little things that can make a big difference in the networking and referral world. So this week, week 8, your job is to identify a networking source, a source of building out a network. So either a professional business networking event, maybe start looking at a local BNI group, a LATIC group, a chamber of commerce, maybe a professional business association in your group, other networking events, maybe just on social media, an online group. And also create a list of potential referral sources, right? Those people that you know that are well connected or on your names list. And most importantly, contact any new candidates that get referred to you, right? Those are your hottest leads. It'll take so much pressure off of you when you've got someone that you can work through as a referral source, and it becomes fun because if you've got 10 or 15 names that have been referred to you, so much easier to make those 10 to 15 connections rather than going out cold and trying to start at ground zero, right? So you want to jump on those right away. Don't just say, oh, I'm going to wait until I build up a whole list of new candidates. No, as soon as one comes in, you contact them. So one lead comes in, contact them. The second lead comes in, contact them. A referral comes in, contact them, right? And then obviously doing your research along the way. And lastly, we're going to submit your weekly form. This week is going to be kind of an accumulation of all your activity. We're going to talk about not only just week 8, but also what have you done over month 1 and month 2, May and June. We'd love to hear your results, your success. And we're also going to have you do that WebCenter owner self-assessment again, just to see that you made some improvements compared to the first time that you did that exercise. Always, 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 reach out to your coach, reach out to me, let me know how we can help you, and looking forward to seeing you succeed as a WebCenter owner. I hope you've enjoyed this program. We've got one more week left, and what we'll be doing is really focused on sharing some highlights and results from the entire 2-month program here.